Yeah, on the daily. This is what I do. Get in tune. Salutations. Fair game with TJ Orwell. We have another GOAT debate between Stephen Wardell Curry, Magic Irvin Johnson, who are the premier PGs at numero uno, who is the Da Vinci Code, who has the masses' attention. We have to definitely get into this reaction. Shout out to Draymond Green's platform.
How do you look at the all-time great point guard conversation? Like, obviously you're right up there. Obviously Steph's right up there. Obviously Magic's right up there. But how do you look at that debate? Or do you even think like those should be debates?
They should be debates because they're good for basketball and it's good for, we always want the general public to be interested in what we're doing, good or bad.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So when you define the position of point guard, this is an era where they say we are positionless. But then you want to say, okay, well, he's a point guard, he's not a point guard. So let me just tell you the way I think about point guards. And the Golden State Warriors, you are the point guard. You have more assists than Steph. You bring the ball up, you initiate the offense, you set the defense, you run the show. Steph comes off screens, he catches, and he shoots. And he's one of the greatest shooters ever. And what he's been able to do for this generation of play and the way he's won with it, key word, the way he's won with it, has been different than anybody else has ever tried to do it. I won a different way. As a point guard, I led my team, and I may be the only one who's done this as a point guard, where I've led my team in scoring and assists to back-to-back championships. I don't think Magic led his team in scoring and assists in back-to-back championships. He may have led them in assists. He may have led them in scoring. I'm the only one that's done it in both categories. Now, when I look at Steph when he talks about the people that he's emulated. He talks about Reggie Miller. He talks about Ray Allen. He talks about, guys coming off catching and shooting. And he by far has taken it to another level. But when you talk about the point guard position, the way I was taught and the way I think of it, not today's point guard, but I would say that the Michigan State point guards, right? So Eric Snow had Allen Iverson, right? Mm-hmm. Allen Iverson was not the point guard. Eric Snow was the point guard. They'd never want to give Eric Snow the credit for being the point guard, but that's who ran the team. Mm-hmm. For the Golden State Warriors, you're the point guard, and that's okay. Now, what Steph has been able to do something at his size that no other player has ever been able to do. So he really does have his kind of own category, just like I think I have my category. But if you want to say who's the best point guards between us, it all depends on what era you want to put us in. Mm-hmm. Now, mm-hmm. I think Magic Johnson, Oscar Robertson, because of their size, they always have an advantage over me and Steph in a real basketball game, right? And Magic could score, he could run the show, and to me, he's the best to ever do it. Second best is Oscar Robertson. And I would say, in terms of the way I had to do it in my era, the little guys, don't nobody compete with me. Mm-hmm. But I would also mm-hmm. say with Steph Curry, the way he has done it, nobody could compete with him. Allen Iverson was the closest small guy to come to doing it the way Steph is doing it, you know, but he by far is in a different category. So point guard, shooting guard, whatever you want to call them, you know, the assist number for the point guard is always what we were like, okay, can you do this? Right? That's what you were judged on. We weren't judged on how many points we scored. We were judged on how can you help your teammates score.
Respect to Isaiah Thomas. There's so much I can really get at him about. His era was his era when he played basketball. My retort would be, why is the point guard this sacred position when we have centers? There are defensive centers whose sole job is to defend the paint, rebound the basketball. We have those Clint Capella type centers, DeAndre Jordan in his prime, Tyson Chandler in his prime. But we also have skill center like Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, so on and so forth, who were beasts offensively. So we can't just look at the PG as solely getting assists. What about power forwards, small forwards? We have D and 3 who can maintain a position, whose sole job is to lock down the offensive player the best way they can. Then on the other end of the floor, their job is to hit wide open shots. Then we have LeBron's, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard's, Jimmy Butler's, all players who can create and are big wings who can score on their teams, shooting guards as well. So why does the point guard have to be one thing, one playing style? What's wrong with somebody that can be a pure PG like a Rajon Rondo back in his day, Chris Paul, who was dubbed the point guard that played the position a textbook way, where I guess Isaiah Thomas was speaking on John Stockton's of the world. But what's wrong with Steph Curry's? What's wrong with Damian Lillard? What's wrong with other point guards who can put the basketball into the hoop and who can get buckets that way? Or Tony Parker, he got a number of championships as well. So that would be my biggest critique of what Isaiah Thomas is trying to give us through his championship experience, his IQ, overall legend that's underrated. But as time go on, the reason why we have these trolling tactics, we're done with the 80s. We're done with the 90s, because old heads respectfully do not want to evolve the game of basketball. Why is that? Everything evolves.